Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for May 17th through the 23rd, 2021. So, before we begin, I'd like to welcome everyone to this week's angel reading and to anyone who might be new to our channel and our Angel School community. And I'd just like to highlight a few things. If you haven't already tuned into the monthly Angel Scope readings, I've posted them for the 12 zodiac signs on my channel. So you can either find these things through the links below for my Facebook page, Twitter page, or you can go to the community page here on the Angel School. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that so that you'll always get the notifications for when any readings are posted here, whether they're written, my daily card messages that I post here on the channel, or these monthly angel scopes, and also the weekly videos that you're watching right now. Also, I just want to make you aware of my special offer, angel reading. My $77 half-hour reading has been extended for 1 full hour since the pandemic. So you can go to my webpage, theangelschool.com/services page, and that link is below as well. And what you would do is, when you get there, just select the half-hour reading as is. Within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email noting that special offer. And for 1 full hour for the month of May. And it will come with instructions about how to submit your availability to me for the next 3 weeks, so that I can schedule an appointment with you. And what I do is I sit with your angels and your higher self, and they show me the date and time that would be best. So it's a very sacred part of the process, and just be aware of how this works, and that every reading as it's submitted, I schedule them in the order that I receive them. So it may take 3 to 5 days to get an appointment scheduled. Usually not that much, but just to be aware of that. And just make sure you read and follow the instructions, and get back to me to let me know immediately that you've received the confirmation email, just in case something happens with spam and I'm not aware of it. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. And let's tune into the energy of your heart space, into the energy of this week's reading. And just allow yourself to be really connected to your own personal tree spirit. So just see whatever energy or tree that comes up in front of you. And just allow yourself to be in the presence of this tree. And Archangel Raphael, the emerald green archangel, is also present. And unicorns are grazing there. Beautiful, magical, shimmering white unicorns. And just allow your heart to relax and to open and to heal. And Archangel Michael is coming through as well. And he's helping you to open your heart to your truth and to guide you to walk in a path of integrity. especially in how you communicate, so that to help you to be authentic and honest and open in every way that it serves the greater good and it liberates you. So there's this extraordinary sense of peace that comes when you're able to really, truly be yourself and to love others from that sacred space. And they're writing the word imagination, the unicorns. So the unicorns are trying to help you to open your imagination, to really allow yourself to just tap into the reservoir of fresh new ideas, to be really innovative, and to help you to have a fresh perspective so that you are able to just move forward unencumbered. And they want to help you to really activate your faith. And they're indicating the planet Jupiter so that there's, in this week, potential for you to expand, for you to have expansion and more possibilities that are available to you. And it's about really opening up to those possibilities and really following your heart and not allowing yourself to be limited by your fears or any of your worries or concerns. And as you do this, the energy just starts to take off for you. Just like I'm just all of a sudden feeling like I'm moving very quickly through the energy. Just moving, and there's a sense of progress and potential just opening up for you and blossoming. And the unicorns are just moving all around you, and they're starting to move in a new direction. And they're guiding you. And they're saying that it's going to be, they're writing the word death, which is about a transformation, a change, an energy in your mindset. And that as you surrender or let go of certain things, whole new possibilities open up for you. I don't know why they wrote that word plastic and then safe in the context of what I was saying, but it feels like something like a false barrier or false idea or false materials. So it's something that you need to be aware of, that you sort of rely on to keep you safe. And that's going to be stripped away from you. So whatever that is specifically for you, that has to be cleared. They're writing the word sanitize, like purged, cleansed. So really let go. Try to be aware of how you protect yourself from opportunities that are available to you. And this might be something that you don't realize, but it's a way of sabotaging yourself. I don't know, it feels like you stack the odds against yourself. And it's all in your mind, but you just need to be aware of it. Don't try to fight it. Just be aware. Notice how this reaction stirs up in you. And they wrote the word uniform, and what it kind of felt like to me is, you know, it's like a uniform in the sense that it's about certain structures, you know, about conforming, having this. It could be something like this, almost ritualistic, or like a practice, sort of standards of belief, or something like this, or principles that actually is sort of like acts as a straitjacket for you, and you. It's like you need to break free from this. You need to really trust and go beyond the restraints of this. It kind of keeps you safe. You may even have developed a philosophy around this so that you're really invested in this, like a uniform. You know, it's your identity. And the angels are wanting you to break free from that identity. There's something even greater beyond that. And it feels like you're afraid to trust that. You're afraid to, you'll feel completely naked without it. And so it's very hard for you to let go of it, to be stripped of it. You grab onto the pieces. So in this way, watch this behavior that even it might make you feel very desperate when you don't have access to it, or if someone would try to take it and remove it without you knowing. You know, it's too precious, but it's keeping you boxed in. And that's what you really need to be aware of. Okay. Just take another deep breath. And as you do, just be aware of the network of angels that are surrounding you. And any thoughts, maybe you might get a flash of this behavior or these principles, this uniform that the angels are speaking about for you. And just give them permission in your heart, knowing that this is going to set off a chain reaction of events, okay? Things that you might not be comfortable with. But you know it's time. You may not know how you're going to do without this uniform, but you know it's necessary. So within your heart, trust in your angels that they fully understand your heart and they fully understand how to help you. They ask you to have faith and give them permission to begin to remove this uniform and to place greater responsibilities that really that give you greater purpose beyond this identity that this uniform represents for you. So they want to replace it with greater responsibility, because that's how much they trust and know who you truly are. And they want to give you a greater purpose beyond this identity, knowing that you're ready, that you've prepared for it for lifetimes, that you're ready for this. And that you won't crumble, and the world will still be standing, or you'll still be standing on the world, on the earth, but you'll still be there. You won't lose the core essence of your spirit at all, but rather that it will be completely revealed. right? Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at the Archangel card, Oracle card that is coming up for us this week, and the Archangel that we're working with. And your unicorns are just there, wanting to help you to be free of some of the shackles that has been placed around your heart and your soul. Now, this is my card. So it always gets to me as much as it probably gets to you, but Archangel Uriel. And the card says, you know what to do. And what it's letting you know that you are wise, that you have a guiding light within you, a light of truth. And it never leaves you. It never diminishes this voice. In those times when you feel like you can't hear that voice or that guidance, and you feel like everything is pushing against you, that the world is, in a sense, adversarial. It's in those moments that that voice is shining its brightest and speaking its clearest. And so when you feel like you don't know what your direction is, you do. Because all of that confusion that you're feeling, or that's been expressed, or frustration, is because you are not embracing what you know deep down. So whenever you're sitting with a choice and you're struggling with a choice, you're actually struggling against that voice. The choice, of course you have free will, but the choice is so apparent in your heart. So you have to really get beyond the surface of your feelings, of your heart's feelings and guidance. You have to get beyond that surface, because on the surface, it's like a reflection, right? It's just reflecting everything that you're afraid of, because it's that outer level. And what you really have to do is you have to go deeper. And one thing that you could do, if you just can't meditate or quiet your mind, is to think about something that you are really passionate about, or something that you really enjoy. It could be, and it doesn't have to be something that's, in particular, like, it doesn't have to be something like something you do. It could be a hobby. It could be an activity that you do, like cooking or something, or a memory of a most beautiful evening when you were, I don't know, drinking a cool glass of water and it just felt so good. And whatever it is, go to that moment to help distract your mind from the surface. And as you recreate this moment that's just so anchoring and grounding and centering, where you feel total confidence, where your strengths are so tangible and palpable in your imagination. And let that take you deep into the core of your essence. And just like that, one of those moments, the choice is that clear to you. It is that beautiful and peaceful and confident. So allow that to help you to connect into the sense of your knowing, of your inner knowing. And then trust the signals that your heart is showing you or revealing to you or helping you to understand in some way. Okay? It says, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. It's from that place of decision and choice, discernment. That's from that place, you know. That place is beyond, and I'm going to call it manipulation, because when we know deep in our heart, but we're trying to work with all that surface stuff, and we're trying to fit things when they don't want to fit, right? Because you're worried about other people or your perceptions, and you're trying to, that's manipulating the truth, your truth. You have to trust that even though what your heart is telling you seems to be going against everything that would be perfect for everybody else, or that would even make it easier for you. And so what it feels like at the moment is making everything difficult for you, because you have to be honest with this person, or you have to tell this person how you really feel. You know what I mean? Like you have to really say something you're not ready to say because you've been afraid to do it. Well, yeah, you're going to feel a lot of confusion, and if you keep practicing this, as many of us do, you're never going to really know or understand your voice, that voice within you, and why. You have to start trusting it. Even if things just it creates chaos. But that's the whole thing. Sometimes things have to get stirred up in order for things to become clear, for path to be clear. We spend so much time trying to lick our wounds before we even get any scars. You know what I mean by that? Those of us who are extremely sensitive, we don't want to upset anybody else, so we spend most of our time in working through these battles that we haven't even fought yet. And we're scared to let everybody else, we take on that kind of responsibility. We're scared to allow everybody else, or to trust that everybody else is just as strong as you are, to try to sit there and figure it out before it all goes to what you consider to hell or to chaos. And they keep writing the word free. Remember, the unicorns were horses, and they're ascended horses, and so that freedom, is a very important theme, right? So we have to allow ourselves to be free, to roam, and to pursue our purpose without any reins holding us back. All right, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week and see what the energy. All right, and it's the Eight of Cups. And this is a very soulful depiction of this card. You have the moon energy, and it's so huge, it's full moon, and everything seems to be bathed in this beautiful light, and the river that's running alongside her, and she's looking up to the moon, looking for clarity. And the river is moving alongside her and kind of giving her a sense of direction, indicates that we need to go with the flow of our hearts here. And it's clear that a journey is beginning. And even though it's dark and night and everything is not fully revealed, but we can see on the horizon that the sun is coming up. And this is sort of an assurance. Like this message here is always assuring us that when we make changes, they present challenges and lessons, but the sun always rises, meaning that we will make it to the next chapter. That we'll come through that whatever we have to deal with, it'll all be all right, and we'll come through and we'll overcome it. But right now, in this moment, it's about listening to your heart, listening to the fulfillment of your heart. So the next card is a 9 of Cups, or the 9 of Water, which is known as the Wish card. And so it's about, in this card, it's about moving towards that fulfillment, listening to your heart, and moving towards that spiritual fulfillment. This is your focus in this week. This is your purpose. And this is not easy to walk away from things, to leave others to deal with things as a result of what your absence might mean. And you're worried about that. It could be that a move that but it could just mean that you change your sense of direction, your sense of purpose, how you approach or focus, how you choose to exist in a relationship dynamic within your job or in your home. And that change is personal. It's personal to your soul. Your I am presence is calling, summoning you to that next level of fulfillment. They're writing aspirations. So there are aspirations that you have that you feeling very strongly drawn towards, that will help bring a fulfillment of happiness. So you know what that is. And enough with the delays. And this card might indicate that something poignant happens where you just say to yourself, okay, enough. And you make that shift. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. So we have a lot of moon energy here. We have the moon card. So, what's coming up for you? All right, what's coming up from the surface, deep down? What's in, this is going to bring up something emotional. So this is just letting you know that even though you're getting clarity, and that's the whole purpose of this, that healing and clarity, and the cycles of the moon. There's these strategies that each moon cycle sort of helps us to cultivate, right? So the new moon is a new opportunity, the full moon, something coming to fruition. So, or healing something or letting something go. So this is going to be emotional. This is going to bring up things. It's going to bring up things within you, and it's going to bring up things in other people. But they're writing that word responsibility again. This is about you deserving of something more. There's a greater purpose that they're offering you, a greater opportunity that they're offering you. And this is why it's so important for you to go through these challenges and the lessons in order to reach that goal. All right, let's take a look at the card. Wow, so we got the 8 of Swords here. All right, so this is a card of restriction. And we were just talking about the unicorns really coming through to help you to cherish your freedom, right? And it almost feels like that you may want to just go back into that comfort zone and of resistance, and it's almost like we're more comfortable with the misery that we know rather than the uncertainty that we don't understand or have any way of knowing how we would react, what we would do. This is very frightening, and so you're going to need to pay attention to how you create these illusions, excuses, to not really heal, to not move on. So, it's almost like we just follow our heart, follow that flow, follow where we're being led, where we feel most drawn. It's going to bring up some things, and you may want to just, crawl back into that hole. But just keep following and go within. Get just don't, when you're feeling all confused and everything is all over the place, you're just reflecting the surface. You need to go deep. Find that thing or that moment or that activity and just go through it in your mind as a way to calm yourself, to help you to connect in with that inner knowing, your inner truth. So all of these cards have this blue energy, right? There's a lot of blue. So the throat chakra. But it's sort of a dark. So is that the throat chakra, but also it could be the 3-dimensional third eye, the indigo. The fifth dimensional is emerald green. So chakra. So you might be stuck in between letting go of a whole paradigm, really. It seems like you're struggling to really open up to this new level of possibilities, struggling some way with your own ascension process. And so just be aware that you might be dipping into your 3-dimensional reality, which means you're struggling with the ego. You're struggling to see beyond your fears. It's gating you in, walling you in, and creating so many limits, which causes you to gravitate to, being materialistic or judgmental. And so perhaps you fear letting go of, the comforts that you have, the things that you have around you, or that's sort of a second dimensional. And the first dimension would be that you're just being critical, you're judging yourself, and maybe there's some low frequencies of guilt. All these things are creating a sort of an oppression, holding you back from really liberating yourself, from having that enlightenment of the 4th dimension and the clarity of the 5th dimension, where you see the contrast as giving you choice. This variety offers you so many opportunities to choose from. It's like mixing chemicals, and elements and creating new ones. And so that's where that you're going towards that innovation, that sort of innovative perspective, where you're not being limited, but it's sort of like my grandmother used to say, you take what you got and make what you want, right? So, or turning lemons into lemonade, sort of that fifth dimension perspective. All right, let's take a look at the card that I've already pulled from the bottom of the deck. And this really speaks to what you're dealing with. And we were talking about this earlier with the Hierophant here, is these rigid viewpoints, perspectives, principles, the dogma, these beliefs, traditions, these things are holding you back. We're relying on them too much. And it's not that we need to discard every last thing that's there, but it's to invite it into this new awareness, to bring it into the future, so to speak, for lack of a better word. It's much deeper than that, obviously, but just a phrase to make it a little easier to understand. But you're not giving up everything, but you're taking the good from all of that, and you're opening yourself and introducing it to something that's even greater, that has a greater purpose. So ask yourself in this week, what is it that I'm so attached to? What ways am I so attached to that I can't allow myself to really go where my heart is calling me, to really trust that everything is not going to be shattered, but it might be enhanced or more enriched and offer more enrichment to others. This comes to my mind, and I don't know if it's quite on point, but it's sort of a way, like when you talk about traditions and things like that. When I went to college, within my first year, I was very close with my grandmother, and that was my choice. I mean, and not just be close with my grandmother, but all the elders in my community. It was my choice from as young as I could think, and I have memories from being an infant before walking. I have clear memories, and I just remember as if when I arrived in this world at some point, even as a toddler, I could remember when I heard the elders speaking. I didn't know what the word wisdom was. I didn't even know, but I felt this strong sense of purpose. Like it was like a message, like a memory that I was supposed to go listen to them, because in this world, that was what I was here for, to gather as much of that, the wisdom. But all I could probably think in my mind was whatever that is, that's where I'm supposed to be. And nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. It was like a little secret in my head that I always knew. And when the kids were playing and I had the choice to play versus when I felt this wisdom was about to start, that's where I went to sit. So I was really sort of an old soul, and I kind of, indoctrinated in their life experiences. So I was way ahead of myself. So when I went to college, I was way ahead of everybody in that regard, and probably sounded old and whatever. But one of the things from my Christian upbringing was this very judgmental, attitude, and which I've noticed. I usually always get along with people, and then all of a sudden I noticed it was a clash. So after a while, I remember one day sitting in my dorm room, and I took out a piece of paper and I drew a line, And I realized that I had to look at the way I was brought up, and look at what doesn't work and shouldn't work because I wouldn't want it to be directed towards me, and what to keep and what was valuable. And I made that list. Again, nobody told me. It was a secret in my head because I realized I wasn't gelling with the world anymore and I had to figure it out. But I knew after so many times that it had to do something with me, so I sat down and I did that. And then after that, it changed things for me in terms of, these people that I really loved. They're like my experience at Eastman was one of probably one of the highlights of my entire life. And so, but when I made that change, it opened me up. It freed me to really be myself and to really make decisions about what I thought was best, to make wise decisions. So it really liberated me for the first time to make wise decisions for myself. And a lot of those wise decisions, the people I grew up with would not have approved. Those elders wouldn't have approved because of the way they were indoctrinated through their Christianity and through the community that was heavily Christian, and in a sense, fundamental. So this liberated me, and then this has grown. This has always been with me. The core of it has always been with me, but it has expanded to who I am before you right now. So it's about, and could I have seen that I would be here when that happened? No way. But if I hadn't done that, there's no way that I would be the person I am right now talking to you about the things I'm talking to you about, because it just would not have happened. It was an absolute no-no. And I'm sure you've all been there in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it wasn't as clear for you as it was for me, but you've been there and you've been changed, and you're at this place now where that's what you have to do. You have to do what's best for you, even if it makes you a little bit more of an outcast. And it does feel that way. Not gonna lie to you. It's not always the most comfortable thing, tell somebody what I do still, but you get used to it, and it just opens up more opportunities for how you just see the world, the ways that I can work. And that person from the beginning is always there. That's what's surfacing. It will always surface for us. It'll always challenge us. Because it's always going to tell you that that's not right. That's not that's not where you come from. That's not who we raised you to be. It will always come up. But at that moment, you get to decide what are the wise choices for you. And this is what this card in this moment really means to me, more than I've ever thought about it, because I've never talked about this with this card in front of me. But this is about you giving yourself permission to make the wise choices for yourself, outside, free of the way you were brought up, for lack of a better word. Trust, have faith, trust that you need to go in this direction. Trust that you and everyone around you will be okay. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and thank you for joining me, and have a beautiful week.